For nearly half a century, Lindy rigs have been a staple of serious walleye anglers, thanks largely to their unparalleled ability to present live bait in a natural manner. Up next, Fish Head host Jon Thelen shares time-tested tricks for using these versatile live bait delivery systems to catch summertime walleye on lakes across the Midwest.
That's a fish right there. All of a sudden, that one there, that was just dead weight. Man, I love Lindy rigging because there's nothing like the feel of that bite. Now that one there, a lot of times you'll get that boom, boom. That one right there was very much just dead weight. And when I get that, I'm not gonna let him go as long because he's probably got it eaten pretty well. We'll see here. There he is right there. Got him. That's how you like to start a day right there. First pass here this morning, we've seen a lot of fish on the screen. One of the things I'll tell you that I'm a huge believer in is not fishing areas where there's not fish. So what we did this morning, fish are getting pretty predictable right now. We're in that midsummer period to where we were able to come out here this morning and actually just drive around and look, because the fish are all pretty deep right now. When they get deep, they get easy to find on your sonar. Oh yeah, look at that. That's the kind of eye you want to start your day with right here. Man, I'll tell you what. That's exactly what we came out here to do this morning. Is catch fish like this one right here. Let's see if we can get him out of here and I'll show him to you. That is a beautiful walleye right there. We'll see if we can get him settled down. Look at that. That's how you start a day. We're Lindy rigging today, and I'll tell you what, I think that Lindy rigs are just one of the funnest ways to fish. But you know, Lindy rigs really opened a whole world of fishing when they were developed, because it enabled the angler to be able to deliver live bait in so many different ways. And Lindy fishing tackle is actually named after the Lindy rig. It's that effective. It's that type of lure that day in and day out just catches fish. And what's really neat about Lindy rigs too is they catch fish all year long. You can Lindy rig first thing in the spring, and walleyes like that, when they're up shallow, they'll hit them. You can Lindy rig in the middle of summer when they slide deep, and in the fall when they slide back up in there shallow again, they're still biting Lindy rigs, and it's because it's the best way to present live bait. Look at that, what a great way to start our day. Let's get this guy back in, let's get baited back up and get some more, because you know what, there's a whole stretch of fish here right along this break line. We should be able to rig them up one after another. That's a great start to our day though, right there. Just lifted the thing up. I set it down on bottom and I just lifted the thing up, and all of a sudden there's just weight there. Now I'm fishing an area that is a little bit snaggy. I'm sitting right on a rock to sand transition here, but I'll tell you what, usually when you get that dead weight feel, that's a fish. And if it's not, treat it like a fish, because I'll tell you what, you'd be really amazed at how often people miss fish on a Lindy rig because they didn't treat it like a fish. And it's a fish that just grabbed, oh yeah, there he is, look at that. Yep, right there's a great example of one of those times though. If I would not have treated that like a fish, I would have probably lost that fish, because a lot of times what you do is you just pull out of it thinking you're in a snag, especially in areas like I'm fishing here. This spot right here, I'm fishing some pretty deep water, anywhere from 17 to 21, and this little rock flat I'm on can get a little bit snaggy. So one of the things I've done is I've altered my Lindy rig just a little bit. You know, you can buy Lindy rigs in so many different configurations. So what I did today though is I opened up a Lindy Rig package straight off the shelf. It's all set to go. Everything's there that I need. The swivel's there, oh yeah, another good eye. He ain't happy about coming up. When they see that daylight, that's when they get a little bit tuned up. And that's exactly what happened with this guy. All of a sudden, he knows what's going on. But this fish right here, I mean, he fell for this for a reason. And it's because of how I've got it all rigged up. What I'm able to do is I'm skittering right along the top. You can see how he got hooked right there. That's about as perfect as you can ever get. These fish, they're eating pretty aggressive this morning. So what I did after that last one ate it a little bit deeper. So what I did is I just went a little bit quicker on him, and I'll do that throughout the day. If I recognize that all of a sudden fish are getting it down a little bit deep, I'll set the hook a little bit sooner because it just tells me they're aggressive anyway. That's a great fish right there. Get out of here, buddy. There he goes. But here it is. What I'm using today is the 72-inch Snell Lindy Rig. And this is a crawler leech hook, and I'm fishing crawlers today. And that's one of the neat things about Lindy Rig. I don't care if you're fishing minnows early in the year, leeches through that early summer time period, or crawlers like we're doing today when you get into the dead of summer. There's a Lindy Rig setup that's got the correct hook to do it with. So today I'm using that crawler and leech hook. And a lot of days, that snell length can make a difference. So, you know, if I'm fishing an area and I'm starting with, say, that 36-inch snell and it's not working, I just switch over to the 72, and a lot of times that'll trip their trigger. Then here's the other thing I'm doing today. Just because of where I'm fishing in this little bit of a gravelly, little bit of rocky type bottom, I've switched to a Lindy no snag sinker. Now what I'm using today is the 1/2 ounce size. And what's neat about this sinker is this. The shape allows it to just tick along the bottom and it won't get snagged up. All said and done, there are Lindy Rigs in every different size and configuration, different hooks, different weights. And I'll tell you what, it's easy fishing. All you got to do is go out, get yourself over the top of fish, and then just creep through them. And they're biting one after another here this morning. There he is right there. One of the things I always do when I'm Lindy rigging is I keep that line in my fingertip. I keep it right in that index finger. And when a fish hits, it's as simple as just let go of that line, let him eat it for a little bit. You know, if it's a boom boom, a hard boom boom, I won't leave him as long. It just kind of depends. And it depends on the day too and how hard the fish are hitting. That fish feels like a pretty good one. That one hit pretty hard. I really knew I wasn't gonna have to give him a lot of time. And this one here, you know, one of the neat things about what we're doing too is by throwing that drift sock out, and I had to mess around a little bit. I started with it on this corner, then I moved it over here, but I've been able to just go back and forth over these fish now. And if you can do that and not be affected by the wind, you can pull these Lindy Rigs right back over the same fish over and over, and that's what we're doing right now. I'm catching the same pot of fish, and there's just so many of them here. They're stacked up right on this edge that I'm able to just go back and forth on them and catch one after another. This one looks like an eater too. Look at that. Perfect eater size fish to go in the well. But that right there is exactly what you can do with Lindy Rigs. And these fish, they'll eat over and over and over as long as you put it in front of them. I think we'll put that one in the live well. We'll take one home to eat today.